Alright, we're back. I'm gonna try this review one more time because I had a problem with this tarot deck, actually. Everybody's seen this tarot deck. It's the Prism's Tarot! Yay! The Prism Visions Tarot. Everybody's so wild about this deck. Everybody's so crazy about this deck. Get it before it goes. I heard rumors, there's rumors around the internet that this deck is going to be pushed out so that there's going to be another one perhaps coming in. So, if you're really into this deck, hurry up. It might be limited stock only too. I have not a clue because everybody's talking about this deck so much. I had an option between this deck or the Wild and an Unknown Tarot. Because of budget reasons, I only could afford one or the other and not both. And I got this one. So I am glad that I did get this one. I bought this tarot deck so that I could do professional readings without having having very beautiful cards, without scariness and uncertainties and things like that with my card decks with clients. So basically this is a card deck that I bought for clients specifically. There you go. I have everybody's seen the sequences. Everybody knows that this deck is the best sequence ever. But I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the deck itself as far as the practicalities and just the deck itself. So I'm going to talk more about that, and I actually pulled aside some cards so we could explore those together. We got the nice box. I actually store my deck in this box because it is just so sturdy. You could hear that. I will not be knocked around and inside my bottom of my purse. And it has a message in here. And it talks about the Fool, the Magician, and combining. And it has a very nice author's note. I'm not going to read that because of time purposes. Because I think my battery's dying. Oh no. But I'm going to show you the back of these cards real quick. As far as reversals go, I guess you could do a reversals with it, but it kind of, you could tell what's upright and what's downright if you look closely at the eye enough. But I don't usually do reversals, so as far as my readings go, because as someone said it so adequately one time on YouTube, I forgot what her name is, that the world is already a dark place. Why do you want to go out and get a reading of dark things? And that's kind of what I live by and I believe. Is that we already live in a dark place, in a dark world, and we want to find some peace and light, and we're seeking peace and light, and so why don't we give them peace and light that they're seeking inside? I didn't realize that. That is actually real cool. The front is open. The back actually has the eyes closed. Actually, that makes it so much cooler for me. As far as a companion book goes, it's a very good quality book. I paid about $55 plus shipping with this deck, so it was way out of my budget. I think I've said that in my other video. This deck was out of my budget, and I only could afford one or the other, and I had a choice between the Wild Unknown and this one, and I said this one. And it has a very good some little cute tongue-in-cheeky basic spreads and stuff with that in the front. But as far as the major arcana goes, it has a poem for the major arcana on the top, and actually has a real description on the bottom. So the poem on top is about the majors, and the bottom is more of the description of the cards themselves. And so it does that for pretty much all of the cards in this deck, from the majors to the pentacles. So enough about the guidebook. It's actually a good guidebook, but if you're a beginner out there in the world, I would say hold off of this purchase, because even though it's really cool, unless you're a collector, because this gets to my other point that I was going to make. I love this deck. This deck is so gorgeous, and everybody's talking about it and all that stuff. But as far as practicality and reading, it's very distracting, because I feel like I'm just pulled away from the actual reading itself and admiring the artwork myself. So, as an ADHD kind of personality, I do have a complaint about that, because the artwork is so beautiful. Even when the card by itself, like that, you could get so drawn in by the artwork and the details and the lines and stuff. And it's just so beautiful that it really takes away from reading if you're even distracted yourself by the artwork. So that's the one practical complaint about this. As far as cardstock, I need to talk about the cardstock, by the way. Gold, silver edges, and the matte, it's so slippery. It is beyond slippery. It's a very, kind of has a high gloss finish to it. I thought it was matte finish, but you could pretty much see my reflection of the light in the camera, so you can tell that it's a good quality card, but it's kind of glossy. I always have accidents with this card deck, trying to pull it out of my box here, and it just going all over the floor. I mean, like, yeah, there you go. I kind of almost lost my cards there, just trying to show you. But, yeah, this card stock is very glossy. If you're doing a professional reading, have the cards out already before you start doing it, because you're going to have it all over the floor and look like a fool in front of your clients. But this is the High Hermit. It's very pretty. This one's the Hanged Man. I love, this is the darkest card in this deck, and I think it's a very good depiction. Death is very nice. Oh, and this card deck does come with one extra bonus card, and it's the Strawberries mystery card. I actually kept this in this deck because I think it gives it just one more card to read with. You know, I view strawberries as the summer, late summer, early fall. I remember picking strawberries as a very young child with my dad. Happiness is when I think of strawberries. Harvest. A transition from through Sabbath. When you're talking about the Wiccanism. And you're reaching time of transition. That's what I love about strawberries. It's so deep. It's harvest. It's transition. It's reminds me of my childhood memories. And you could make up your own meaning with this card too, and it is worthwhile. Justice, and it's not my favorite Justice card, but it's a good one. The Devil is very beautiful. It's very autumn-like. Judgment is very nice. I love the door and the swirlies of colors. For a scary card, this is not so scary, which is the Tower, but the meaning still holds true because the water's washing away the coastline to the point where the house could possibly fall into the ocean. Very good depiction. The world is very nice. It has all of the majors wrapped up into one a little bit. Beautiful lovers. I love the lovers. But yeah, I wanted to do a practical reading with these cards because I felt like everybody's so fascinated with these cards and revealing the cards. But nobody has ever done a review about the practical side of these cards. It's slippery. It it's privately published, so it's going to be a little bit more pricey out of most people's price ranges. I have a poor man's budget of $20 when I usually buy a tarot deck. And what else do I want to say about this? So I think some of the symbolisms are very nice. I like the vomit of color in that one. I think of Blue Man's Group when I think of this card deck. I said that once before, but I will say it again. I love the Empress. I think she's one of my favorites in this deck. Temperance I wanted a tattoo of, because it's just so... I think it captures an essence of the figure being crashed by the waves. Love it! I want it! Emperor has the best Emperor card ever and gives Aries a good name. If you don't know, I'm an Aries, and I have to be the best at everything, and I have to be snarky. I'm the god of war. I have to be the number one, and one only. And I think this kind of depicts that. So I feel magically sound with it. The Lions. Ooh, that's a pretty card. I love the Wheel of Fortune, alright, in this. It's actually not my favorite Wheel of Fortune, but it's a very good one. Magician is very beautiful, and this is the one picture that everybody seems to gravitate to when everybody picks out the card deck. I do believe there was a first edition. This is Fool, by the way, and this is the last card I have. I do think that this is like the second edition of this card, because I think the first edition of these card decks were not in color. Let me get my coffee for a second. Hold on. I don't think the first edition of this card deck was in color, so I think that they did. This is the second edition of these card decks, and this one wasn't actually in color, because I remembered seeing these cards on Pinterest, and there was ones that were just kind of like almost like a mustard yellow color with the same style, and they had this deck. Or the majors were looking like the mustard colored. So I don't know if this was the first edition or not. So probably will say so in the book. 2004. Maybe it is the first edition of this card deck. But 2004 is only last year, so it probably is the first edition. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, let me wrap up this review of the practical review of the Prism Tarot. It is a very beautiful card deck, very slippery gloss, and it's a very thick deck. You might want to shuffle it overhand like so, because I don't want to bend the cards, because there's a card I have in this deck, actually. I have to dig it out to find it, but there's a card in there that already has like a crease right in there. It made me so mad. $50 and I already have a crease in it. And I only had this deck for about 2 months. Made me cry, made me upset. But honestly, the crease might have been my fault too, because I usually shuffle my decks poker style. But I would suggest for this deck, overhand shuffling, like so. So you don't crease them, and like I did, and it was kind of devastating. So yeah, this is what it comes with, and it comes in a pack, just this box, and it will be privately, is privately sold and owned, shipped. You might have to pay shipping. Shipping was, for me, it was about $5. That's for standard shipping nowadays. Was very out of my budget, but I think for out of budgetness, it was well worth the purchase. So get this deck if you're thinking about it, and don't wait another minute, because I don't know how long it's going to be available. That's my view of the Prism Tarot, and my rating for this card deck is a 5. So, if you are in the 1 to 5 system category, like I do for most of my tarot cards, this one is a 5. Get it before it goes. See you for the next videos.